Okay, today we're going to discuss ethics and computer usage. And in just a few minutes, you're going to do an activity by yourself where you read several different scenarios and you have to decide between three options of what kind of ethics issue does this scenario relate to. And your three options are going to be privacy, property, or appropriate use. And there are times, I'll go ahead and tell you up front, there are times that sometimes more than one can apply. Most of the time it's one clearly, but there are a few instances where it could be two. So in those cases, as long as you give me one that's correct, I would take that and count that as correct. I put these notes that I'm about to discuss with you. I'm going to go through each one of the three: privacy, property, and appropriate use. And I put these notes for you on the assignment. So when you get ready to do the assignment, if you forgot what I said about what it means to be a privacy issue, then you can look back at the notes and kind of review that. Let's start with privacy. That's number one. And what I have that I've made just some notes for myself of what does it mean to be a privacy issue or a property issue or appropriate use. For privacy, what you want to do is answer the questions: does my use of the technology violate the privacy of others, or am I giving information to others that I shouldn't? So what that means is, for example, obviously most people, when they think of privacy, they think of not giving out information, and that's definitely a privacy issue. That's true. If you're giving out personal information about yourself online, phone number, address, any of that information, that's definitely a privacy issue. Anything related to that. But privacy also could be on the computer if you are invading someone else's privacy. You should always respect others' privacy. For an example, if you were over at a friend's house and your friend's mom maybe called for them to come to the kitchen and they left their phone on the bed, or they left their laptop with their email open, would it be okay for you to read their messages or read their emails? And the answer is no. That would be a privacy issue. And before I even started, I probably should have prefaced this whole lesson with what is ethics. Ethics is your version of right and wrong. Ethics is morally. It doesn't always mean is it illegal. Sometimes it does, but it also means is it morally right or wrong? You know, there's just some things you don't do or you do, and those are ethics issues. So that's privacy. Number two is property, and a property issue answers the questions: do my actions respect the property of others, and am I taking the correct steps to keep my property safe? So a property issue would be if you stole someone's property, obviously. And when we talk about computer usage, you know, obviously you could steal their phone or their laptop or whatever, iPad. That would definitely be a property issue. But it's also stealing other kind of property. There are things on that we put on the computer that's our intellectual property. If I write a paper, then that's my paper. I own it. I own those thoughts. So if someone steals my paper and uses it for their own, then that's a property issue. They stole my paper, and that was taking someone else's property. Even though it wasn't physical property, property can be things that you have created in your own mind. Answers to a test, or a paper, or music, or a game that you have not purchased, but you download it free, when that's not something that you should do, because it's ethically and sometimes legally. Sometimes some of these things are legally not right to do, because you can get in big trouble for some of these things. So that is a property issue. The last one is appropriate use, and appropriate use issues answer the questions: does this use of the technology have educational value? And is it in keeping with the rules of my family, school, and government? Now, what that means is, for example, if I'm using something appropriately, then I'm using it for how it was intended to be used. An example of not using something appropriately, an example on the computer or using technology might be, if I have my iPad, your iPads have been issued to you for school use, for educational use. If I took that iPad and I was trying to take videos or make pictures of people and then mark up on them and make funny faces just to be funny, that's an appropriate use issue, because you're not using that device how it was intended for you to use it educationally. So that's when it would be an appropriate use issue. So those are the 3 types of ethical issues that we deal with in technology. And I'm going to let you now go ahead and start on the worksheet where you're going to read the scenarios, and then you're going to label each of the scenarios which one you think it is. And again, like I said, there may be a few on there that you feel strongly that it could be more than one. And if you do, then as long as you put one of the ones that's correct, I will count it. If you have any questions when you're doing your worksheet, if you have any things you want to ask me, I'll be glad to take your questions. Just let me know and I'll be glad to answer them. Thank you.